So earlier in the year, Chirag and I were talking about what fun things we could do or what bucket list items we wanted to check off. And after some talking, we decided on the tallest mountain on the African continent. So once July rolled around, we packed up our bags and we took off on the first leg of our journey, which was to London. We would spend a couple of days there just messing around before continuing on to Tanzania. Messing around out of the way, we began our journey to Tanzania. We just checked in. We're waiting now at the gate for our first leg, which is London to Amsterdam. Hour and a half flight, so it shouldn't be too bad. Nine hours later, we landed in Tanzania. When we got to baggage claim, though, I was in for a pretty nasty surprise. My bag didn't make it. Where's my bag? My bag, filled with all of the technical clothing and the gear that I would need to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, was unfortunately still in Amsterdam. I went to the help desk to try and get some information on what to do with my bag, and they were like, don't worry, this happens all the time at this airport. It'll be here tomorrow or the day after. Luckily, we had planned an extra day of buffer between when we landed and when we started, so I had a day to spare. It could have been worse, though. There was a guy in front of me in line who was like, I'm literally leaving tomorrow morning to climb this mountain. And yeah, he for sure was not gonna have his stuff with him. So after that, we got in the car. We made the hour-and-a-half drive to Moshi, which was where we would be staying for the evening. So the next morning, we got up early, we were picked up from our hotel, and we made the hour-and-a-half drive to Arusha, where we got into this really cool Land Cruiser. I was really excited for this safari. I had never been on one before, and most of the animals that were in the national park I had never seen in the wild. Alright, now it is currently 7 o'clock. We just had our briefing with the CEO, or the head guide for G Adventures. This was really our first chance to get to meet everybody and see how we were all feeling in terms of preparation for Mount Kilimanjaro. And one of the funny conversations that came up during our orientation was the toilet situation. There are a lot of campsites on Mount Kilimanjaro, and they have pit toilets. It's not super clean, from what I remember the guide saying. So for $250 split between 4 people, we could get a portable toilet brought up for us. And it was actually really cool because there. So we were like, hell yeah, $250, sign us up. And we were joking at the end of the trip that was like the smartest investment that we made the whole time. Today is the official start of the Kilimanjaro hike. Luckily, my bag made it this morning. Just spent the last 40 minutes getting my bag ready. I think I have everything. Should be good. Now we're just gonna do some final prep items here, and then we're gonna go have breakfast before we get out on the road.
You ready to go?
Yes.
You have to know it's $250 for 4 people for the toilet.
I mean, that's hella worth it.
Alright, we just made it through the Kilimanjaro gate. Bus is parked. They unpacked all our bags. All of the other, the bigger bags have been given to the porters, and we're on our way to check in and have lunch before we start.
Yeah, no. I just like did a lot of places.
After lunch, we made our way through Machame Gate. We were officially starting our Mount Kilimanjaro expedition. Oh yeah, you got the Oakleys on.
Sensor that, like, the further you...
Like this. All the way up.
Chill out. Just come up.
Thank you.
What we were exposed to, though, on the first day were the lines of porters that were making their way up to the different campsites on the mountains. And man, these guys are tough. Like they're wearing Crocs and slippers, and they have these huge packs, and they were just balancing them all the way up the mountain. It was seriously very impressive to watch.
Almost to the first camp. 300 meters.
Five hours later, we pulled into Machame Camp, which will be our campsite for the first night on Mount Kilimanjaro. And amazingly, right after dinner, the clouds parted and we got our first glimpse of the summit.
Right? Yeah.
Holy shit. Just made it to Camp 1. Not too bad. 11 Ks of hiking, about 4,000 feet of climbing, and currently we are at 10,000 feet, which for 10,000 feet I feel pretty good. I still am going to take Diamox tonight though, just because we're going a lot higher the next 3 days.
Alright, well, Don gave a very thoughtful message, and you're gonna see me dry swallow some liquid IV.
Probably a similar experience. Here, I'll join him. Same thing, different shape. It's a tablet. Good morning. It's day 2 of this trek. Did not sleep very well last night. I think it was because of the amount of pasta that I had right before, and I don't think I walked enough because my stomach felt like there was a rock in it. But yeah, eventually did fall asleep. But check out this view, man. It's crazy. You open the tent, you've got a view of the summit right there. I'm just gonna have some breakfast here, and then at 8 a.m. we'll be starting our walk.
Alright, good morning. Slept okay. Blood oxygen was around 96%, and heart rate's 73, so acclimated pretty well.
Day 2 was a little more challenging than day 1. It was only 5 kilometers long, but it was very steep. There weren't a lot of sections of the trail where it flattened out, and it felt like we were always having to climb over some big rock or having to take some big step. And not only that, we had hiked above the clouds, so by this point, the sun was just beating down. It was really hot.
Thank you. I'm sure it's perfect. We got so many. Yeah, we'll have all the. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Just take it slow.
Take it easy.
And to add to all that, too, I finally realized how many people actually want to climb Kilimanjaro, because we were on that trail with all the other porters and all the other expedition teams making their way up the mountain. So we were part of this massive conga line of people just making their way up. So definitely at some points it was very slow going. Just like the first day, it took about 5 hours, but eventually we made it to Chirag Cave Camp, which would be our camp for night 2. The G Adventures cattle train is pulling in. Alright, we just pulled into Chirag Cave Camp. Very short 5K that took us 4 hours and 47 minutes to get here.
Sure.
It's been quite a slog. So we got to camp around midday, and so we had some time to kill. I brought a Kindle on this trip, so I just spent a couple hours reading. And before dinner, the guides took us on a short little walk to the caves nearby. And the campsite's full name actually is Chirag Cave Camp, and they're named after these caves. And so we walked over there. They're pretty cool. They're carved into this like igneous rock or whatever volcanic rock forms, and they go pretty deep. And the guides were telling us that before the camp was fully established, they would use these caves for shelter on their way up the mountain.
To the top.
Non-stop.
One team.
One dream.
One dream.
One team.
No pain.
No gain.
No gain.
No pain.
Hakuna
Matata.
Matata.
Hakuna.
More money.
More problems.
Okay, so as I tell you earlier, that's going to have a group introduction. This is the team we are together.
When we got back to camp, we were introduced to the entire G Adventure team of porters and cooks that would be helping us on this trip. I want to shout out the hard work that these guys put in to make sure little bitch tourists like me make it to the top. These guys were up before we were, cooking food and getting everything ready, and then they were up long after we went to bed, cleaning up. These guys are the backbone of every Mount Kilimanjaro expedition. Speaking of the care and dedication these guys put in, it was Adam's birthday on the trip, and they baked a whole cake for him. Just to put it all into context, we're at 13,000 feet on a mountain, and our chef has the equipment and ingredients he needs to bake a cake. It's crazy. Happy birthday, dear Adam. Happy birthday to you. are one of the very privileged things we get to do here because of all the hard work of the porters is to clean up with a bowl of warm water. This is the color of the water after I wash my feet. Welcome to day 3 of our Kilimanjaro trek. Today is 11 kilometers. Going up that way, and in a couple days we'll be up there. 3,000, 4,000 feet up elevation, so nothing too crazy. Man, we will see how it goes. Views are fantastic. We're in this is like Nevada, like the high country, like northern Arizona. Feels like I'm about to pull into Flagstaff.
You have 2 species of this. You have this one and the forest one. The forest one is found in
Just past 15,000 feet, which is the highest that I have ever been. So it's pretty cool. The crazy thing is there's still all of that left.
You know what I mean? I'm a big believer.
Bye. See you guys later. The third day of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was meant to be a test. First, in the sense that it was hard, and secondly, it was an actual test to see how our bodies were doing with acclimating at that altitude. The plan for the hike was we would hike up to Lava Tower Camp, which was at around 16,000 feet. We would spend a couple hours there letting our body acclimate, and then after that we would hike down to Barranco Camp, which was about 1,000 or so feet lower. And the idea was you go up to the higher altitude, let your body acclimate there, and then you go lower where your body gets a chance to recover.
All right, that's Lava Tower over there. Almost there. That'll get us to about 15,000 feet and some change. Altitude sickness wise, my tummy was hurting a little bit. The food helped, so no tummy ache. Just a bit of a heavy head feeling.
Well done, guys.
Now at Lava Tower Camp, still 18 Ks to the peak. That's crazy. We just finished eating lunch. They set up the tent for us, which was very nice. But I said, look, I mean, we're only gonna be here for an hour. But as always, just very appreciative of everything that they're doing for us. But yeah, just finished lunch. Now we're we have about 25 more minutes, and then we are back on the trail to the next camp. But it's only 3K downhill through some loose scree. But yeah, should be fun and a little bit easier than the way up here.
All right, this video is gonna be a bit real. Massive headache. I need this shit to go away. before summiting tomorrow.
All right, we just pulled into camp here. It was a pretty long day. Today has been the hardest day so far, and it's only gonna get harder from here. Plan for tonight is just to relax, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Good morning. Welcome to day 4 of this Kilimanjaro trek. Today we're up 1 hour earlier than we have been the other days, just because we have quite a long 24 hours coming. Yeah, just wanted to show you guys something cool. The inside of the tent froze. The condensation froze, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I won't spoil anything. I'll just let you guys watch how today pans out. The fourth day. The fourth day was the start of the longest and hardest 24 hours that I have probably ever experienced in my entire life. The first challenge on the fourth day came like 20 minutes right after we started the hike. It was called the Barranco Wall, also known as the breakfast wall, because it's the wall that you face right after eating breakfast. We're making our way up the breakfast wall, and it is very busy. But the view is nice though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
No, you're fine.
Sema mbota hii kupata nguo ya jeshi. Ni kuanzia Morombo kushuka chini. Kisongo huku.
Once we got to the top, we rested for a little bit, we took some pictures, and then we continued on our way to base camp. This part of the hike was really pretty, and to our left, just sort of looming over us, was the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. And so we could see the whole thing all the way down, and if I thought it was intimidating on day 1, this one was extra intimidating. Huh? All right. We are about 3.5K into today. About 2.5 hours in. We still have about 3 more Ks until we get to camp. So yeah, just chugging along. And we are at 13,500 feet. But cruising. Right. 14,600 feet, about 8 kilometers in. You can see base camp up there. We just gotta make the down hike and then back up the other side. And then we're there. Several hours later, we got to base camp. We had something to eat, we rested for a little bit, but there would be no sleep for me that night. Enjoying a fruit bar. Currently, we're at 15,100 feet. It's hard to breathe, to be honest with you. There were a few big steps I had to take on the trail coming up here, and when you lose your breath, it takes a minute for it to come back. Feeling okay, legs feel pretty good, nothing's aching, nothing's sore. And yeah, we're just gonna rest here for till about midnight, and then we're gonna make our summit push. Good evening. It is the same day, believe it or not. Currently it's 11:24 p.m. We are getting ready to make our summit push. And I am literally wearing everything that I own. But it's warm and it's comfortable, but I might have to take these pants off here in a minute because it might actually be too warm. But first we're going to stop for some bread and some coffee, and then we'll start our push up. At 9 minutes past midnight, we started our summit push. Honestly, looking back at it now, it sort of just feels like a fever dream. You couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. I don't think there was a moon that night. All you could really see was what was getting lit up by your headlamp. It was really cold, so cold that they were telling us that the water in your Camelback hose could freeze, so every time you took a sip, you had to blow the water back into the reservoir. And then as we were going up too, the porters and the guides started singing for us. And while it was very motivational and it took our minds off of it, it sort of just added to the trippiness of that whole experience.
Come on,
You're good?
I find it hard to drink and walk.
Salim?
After what felt like a literal eternity, we made it to Stella Point. Stella Point marks the end of the really steep bit of climbing. And at this point too was when the sun started to come up. And honestly, it was really beautiful. Once you get to this point, there's still about a kilometer left to get to Uhuru Peak, which is the actual summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. This part was the most difficult. I mean, I said that the way up to Stella Point was difficult, so this part was like extra difficult. Luckily though, as I was hiking up, one of the guides, Salvatore, was pulling up the rear, and he sort of paced me to the summit. And it's like You walk very slow. In Swahili, they call it pole pole, which means slowly. And you literally, like, that's the fastest that I could walk on the way to the summit. We're just about there. 7 hours and 45 minutes later, I was standing on the tallest point in Africa. And in my Whitney video, I said, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Summiting Kilimanjaro is now the hardest. We weren't actually allowed to stay up there for very long because at that altitude, it's really bad for you to linger. So we only stayed up there for a few minutes before the guides were telling us that we had to go down. The way down was where I started to see a lot of people struggle. It's not so much that it's difficult going down. It's just at this point in the hike, you're super fatigued. And the way down is like this gravelly scree, which makes it a little bit challenging to walk down. If you have strength at this point and you're feeling good, you can definitely do like, you can sort of slide your way down. Makes it a little bit faster, but it does take a lot more energy to do that. I slipped a few times on the way down. So we finally got down to base camp, and you would think after climbing Mount Kilimanjaro that would be the end of your day. You couldn't be more wrong. When we got down to base camp, we had about a few hours to rest, and then we made about a 7-kilometer hike down to Mueca camp, which would be our night for Camp 5. The reason that they do this is that base camp is at 15,000 feet, and Mueca camp is a few thousand feet below. So they want to get you to a lower altitude so that your body has a better chance to recover. Sounds good in theory, but the practical application of it sucks. Like having to walk that far after hiking all the way up and being up all night was definitely miserable, but I understand why they did that. But when we woke up the next day, we had breakfast, and then we had sort of I don't know how you would call it, like a ceremonial goodbye, where we would give our tips to the guides and the porters, and then they sang songs and they danced. And it was actually really cute because we all got to dance too, which was very fun. But yeah, that sort of marks the end of the Kilimanjaro expedition.
Na wenye maji mengi hakuna matata, na shira tulikwenda hakuna matata, na lava wakapita hakuna matata. Jambo 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 bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata. Halafu walifika hakuna matata. Uhuru walikwenda hakuna matata. Kibao waligusa hakuna matata. Na picha walipiga hakuna matata. Jambo 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 bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata. Hakuna matata, hakuna matata. Jambo 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 bwana, habari gani? Mzuri sana.
Before I end this video, I can't emphasize enough the amount of thanks and gratitude that I have towards the porters and the guides, specifically Salim, Emmanuel, and Emmanuel Jr., and Salvatore, who helped us get up to the summit safely. And, you know, the porters would set up our tents and cook our food, and it made the whole trip a lot more comfortable and definitely a lot more safe. And there's not enough thanks that I can say for all the effort that they put in. This was my Mount Kilimanjaro experience. I hope you enjoyed.
Amba